Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now my privilege to introduce today's guest speaker, Dr. Guru Raj Karajagi. Dr. Guru Raj Karajagi, a doctoral degree holder, is a philosopher, scholar, and mentor in the field of education and has been on the boards of management on few medical universities. He has also served as a member of the State Resource Group for the implementation of total quality management in the colleges of Karnataka. Dr. Karajagi was the principal of VBS First Grade College for Women, Bengaluru, for 16 years and founder director of the International Academy for Creative Thinking. He is a well-known columnist and has completed more than 1,800 columns. His 15 books entitled Karunadu Ba Belake are immensely popular and has seen several editions. Dr. Karajagi has also written a book on Sufi philosophy. Currently, through the Academy for Creative Teaching, of which he is the chairman, Dr. Guru Raj Karajagi is instrumental in building over 85 schools of high quality all over the world. He is generally considered an institution builder. He has designed a complete curriculum in creativity which is being used in different universities. He has traveled and lectured extensively both in the East and the West and has conducted more than 2,000 training programs for educational and corporate organizations. To sum up, he has been a guru by birth, by profession and practice. No wonder his parents have named him Raja of the Gurus, Guru Raja. Before I hand over, I wish to invoke the blessings of the eternal Guru with a small prayer. Ajnanativiramdasya gnananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha.
I feel so gratified that I have a chance of being a part of this beautiful program, a heart-touching program, where something is happening for the children of this country. When Wing Commander Murthy asked me that I should come and talk today, I was really extremely happy. I've been a teacher for a long time. About 30 years ago, probably 35 years ago, an incident happened when I was teaching my students in the college. I was teaching the postgraduate students in the Department of Chemistry. Basically, my subject is chemistry. As I was teaching chemistry, I stopped the class somewhere in between and asked the students a question. How many of you remember your grandfather's name? The students looked puzzled. How is grandfather connected to chemistry? Since the teacher asked a question, they looked around and all of them raised their hand. I said, good, I'm happy. All of you know your grandfather's name. I paused for a moment and then asked, how many of you know your grandfather's name? They looked more puzzled, looked around, but 5-6 hands went up. I said, I'm happy. At least 6 students know their grandfather's name. Again, I paused for a moment and then asked, how many of you know your grandfather's name? No hand went up. No hand went up. I was surprised. I told him, look, how is that you don't know your grandfather's name? One girl stood up and answered rudely, but there was perhaps an element of truth in what she said. She stood up and said, what's the point in remembering, sir? I said, Amma, I'm not asking my grandfather's name. I'm asking your grandfather's name. How is that you don't know? So again she answered, what has it done so great for me to remember, sir? Looking at her anger, I said, Amma, please sit down. I told the remaining students, I'll go on mentioning a few names. If you know these names, raise your hand, otherwise forget about it. They were curious as to what names I throw. I said first, do you know Ayodhya Rama? Rama of Ayodhya? They all said yes, we know. I said very good. Krishna? They said yes. Buddha, Mahavira, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Shankaracharya, Basavanna. I went on asking these names, and everybody knew the names. Everybody knew the names. And I told him, now I have a serious problem. Serious problem that I am not the great grandson of any one of them, but remember all their names. But I don't remember my own grandfather's name. Why is that? Think over and tell me. I gave them 5 minutes time. I could see in my class, there was one girl in my class called Padmini Priyadarshini. I can't forget this child. Brilliant child and extremely sensitive child. She had tears in her eyes. I saw her crying. I asked her, Padmini, what happened? She wiped her tears and told me, sir, your question was a lesson for my life. Was a lesson for my life. Lesson for your life? What is that? When she gave the answer, it became a lesson for my life. It could be for anybody. The girl told me, sir, I learnt a beautiful lesson. Anyone who lives for himself shall not be remembered by the world, and anyone who lives for others shall not be forgotten. What a wonderful lesson she girl taught me. If I live only for myself, my own great grandson will not remember me. Very simple. Why do I remember Rama who lived 9,600 years ago? What has he done? What was the bank balance of Basavanna? There was no bank at all. All his deposits are in our hearts. All these people are remembered because what they gave to the society rather than what they got for themselves. None of them got anything for themselves. I learned a lesson on that day. Giving is joy. There's a tremendous joy in giving. And especially giving it to children is a moment of gratification for the giver. There is no arrogance in giving. I feel grateful that somebody is receiving it. Because every child is a gift of God. Is a gift of God. And God in His infinite wisdom has created so many species on earth. And Indian philosophy says 84 lakhs of lives have been created by God. But of that, human being is the finest creation of God. If God is omnipotent and omnipresent, and human being is the finest creation of God, then I must be treated well. Every human soul should be treated well with respect. And as long as you give, there is a chance of living life beautifully. I tell you, wonderful. Giving is not a favor we are doing. It's not an obligation we are doing. It is the only way to survive. It's the only way to survive. I'll share an example with you. I was principal of a college for a very long time. I loved my teachers and teachers loved me so much. And one teacher was asking me to come home, come to her house. All that year I could not go. Before the college reopened, she came with her husband and said, sir, this year you must come to my house on this Sunday, sir, coming Sunday. I made a commitment. I went to their house. Please visualize along with me. It's a lovely example. The husband and wife received me at the doorstep, took me inside, made me sit on a sofa. The couple have 2 children. The first one is 11-year-old, second one is about 7.5-year-old. And you know very well, the first child is normally obedient and listens to the parents. Second is mischievous, is always so. The first one came very systematically and said, Namaste sir, I'm so happy you came home sir, and went. It is a programmed action. And after some time the second fellow came. This fellow, 7.5, all hair scattered on his forehead, with a half pant and a t-shirt. He came and stood before me, went on looking at me, staring at me. It looks a little critical, when people go on looking at you in the face. I said, what is that, man? He said, are you the principal? I said, yes. My mother was telling me that you are coming today. And mother was shouting from inside the kitchen, come inside, come inside. Because she was worried that this fellow will ask some question which can embarrass me. But no children can embarrass me. I love them so much. And then I said, don't worry, let him ask any question. He came close to me and asked me, do you have a shower in your bathroom? I said, I have. Then he pushed his lower lip out and said, we don't have. I said, don't worry, man, you will have it later on. I said, why later on? I created one already. I told him, just now you said there is no more shower in your bathroom. There is no shower. I made it. My father has not made it. Come, I'll show you. He held me my hand and pulled me. The mother went red in her face. Principal comes to her house for the first time and this fellow drags him to the bathroom. Isn't it embarrassing? I said, don't worry, I'll go. I went to the bathroom and saw, as he said, there was only a tap. There was no shower. Like a typical magician, he said, watch what I'll do now. From his left pant pocket, he took out one balloon, flat balloon, rubbed it, he blew it, then fixed it to the tap. From the right pant pocket, he took out a thread and tied it nicely. He said, now watch carefully, now watch carefully. He opened the tap. The water started rushing into the balloon. Balloon became so big. I was about to say, hey, it gets burst. He stopped it. Let's see the fun now, he told me. From his shirt pocket, took out a sharp pin, needle. Chuck, 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 chuck. He went on making about 20-25 holes to the balloon. And water started gushing out of the balloon like a shower. And balloon became flat. Now he turned the tap half. The water was coming into the balloon and water was going out of the balloon also like a shower. Then he smiled and beamed at me and said, look, I have created a balloon shower. Balloon shower. I said, very good. I told the teacher, your son is very creative. But after 8 days, when I started thinking and pondering about this incident, to me, it appeared philosophical. It appeared philosophical. I started saying, are we not like that balloon? Every human being is like that balloon. At the moment of birth, when we are born, we are helpless. Other than crying, I can't do anything else. Like the flat balloon in the pocket of the child. But then, as the child goes on growing, the child receives from the parents, the family members, the school, college, university and society and world at large, and his life grows and becomes big. I have become big because I have received from this society so much. Imagine if I had kept the tap on without making perforations on the balloon, what would have happened? Balloon would burst. Because balloon had number of holes, balloon survived. Similarly, I go on receiving from the family, the school, college, university and the society, and if I don't give back to society, my life will also burst. Like the balloon. I have no option but to give. Like the 25 holes in the balloon, I have got 25 faces to me. I am husband to somebody, friend to somebody, teacher to somebody, colleague to somebody, social worker to somebody. I have 25 faces. From all these faces, I should give back to society. If I don't give back, my life will burst. Therefore, giving is not an obligation or arrogance. I feel grateful that somebody is receiving that. I learned, I made an article based on when I'm teaching in IIM Kolkata. I wrote an article on that joy of giving. There's a tremendous joy in giving. My friends, please believe me, there is joy in receiving. You purchase a new car, you feel so happy about it. Oh, lovely car. And we wash it twice a day. Actually, new car does not require washing. We wash only at that time. And when the first scratch comes on the bonnet, you feel like a bar on your chest. Oh my God, there's a scratch on the car. But after 3 years, there are 20 more scratches. You're already thinking of selling this car. The joy that you had on the first day of receiving the car is not there on the third year. It's not there. But if you are given to somebody else, the joy will multiply every year. You are given contribution to build a school or sponsored a child's education, and every time the child comes and says, look at my marks card, I have done well, your joy gets multiplied. I tell you, the joy of receiving decreases with time. Joy of giving increases exponentially as the years roll by. I know I don't have much time. I got another 3-4 minutes. I know that Venkamata Murthy told me that I have about 12 to 15 minutes. I already spent 10 minutes now. I have to tell you something, my friends, which is burning within me. Our life is programmed. We don't live for 1,000 years. We don't know whether we live tomorrow morning. We are here today. We should do something to society today. We are not guaranteed tomorrow. We will not postpone tomorrow. I mention one beautiful example and stop. This has touched my life. A friend of mine who retired as the income tax commissioner in Bangalore has two sons. He has exported both of them. One is in England, other is in America. They are earning huge amount of money. And 1 year before he retired, he lost his wife. This man stays alone in Bangalore. Both his sons thought, father is alone in Bangalore, we should take him out for a small change. Both of them took him to Hawaii Islands. Money is not a problem now. Enough money they have. They took 3 rooms on hire. One room, elder son and his wife. Other side, younger son and wife. In between room, father stayed there. Father was income tax man, no? Very expensive hotel, no? He said, don't worry about money, Papa. Enjoy. Be here for some time. That day evening, the elder son came to the father and said, Father, we have taken the token for Blue Cube tomorrow for 3 minutes. What's that? He asked. There's something called as Blue Cube. There's a room called Blue Cube. It's a fascinating experience. I've taken token for 3 minutes. 3 minutes, how much does it cost? He said something of 5,000 rupees in Indian currency. Oh my God, 3 minutes, 5,000 rupees? You're wasting money. He said, Abba, you have the chance of seeing it. What do I do? He said, take the token, go into the room and close it. There is a slot, push the token there, and there are dark glasses kept, cooling glasses. You wear the glass and stand quiet. You will have a wonderful experience. Unwillingly, the father went. At the time, stipulated time, he closed the door and pushed the token in the slot. He heard a sound, tuck, 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 tuck sound. Then over the dark glass and stood there. 3 minutes he stood like a fool. Nothing happened. He came back with a long face. Children asked, what happened, Papa? Nothing happened. Your nice way of wasting money. I was waiting the glass and standing like a fool. They were wondering what happened to my father. Evening, the younger fellow came and said, Papa, I don't know what happened today. Tomorrow I have taken the token for 6 minutes for you. He said, my God, 10,000 rupees we are wasting again. I have taken the token already. Next day again the father went, closed the door, pushed the token, tuck, tuck, tuck sound came. He wore the glass and stood there. Standing like that for 6 minutes doing nothing is punishment. He felt so miserable. Finally, he finished 10 minutes, came out with a longer face and shouted at both the children, you have no brains? Nothing happens? Children wondered what is happening. Everybody is appreciating so much and why is not my father taking it out? Night, both of them went together and said, Papa, last chance. Tomorrow, we have taken the token for 10 minutes. Last chance. We'll try it. Unwillingly, again, the old man went there, pushed the token, waited, wore the glass for 2 minutes, then said, Che, I should do something now. 8 minutes I had to stand like this. He saw, removed the glass. There was a dressing table like that. There were a few clothes hung on the hanger there. And to the right, he saw another door. Anyway, I had to spend 8 minutes. Let me see what is there. He turned the handle and opened. Oh my God, his heart stopped. Blue Cube is there. That is the Blue Cube. What they have done is, there is a room facing the sea. And on that front side is only the glass. They have focused all the light dancing on the waves into the room. It is so bright. He wore the glasses and stood there. Nice. The wall is painted with the fluorescent blue. The cool air and the blue color. He felt as if he was becoming younger every minute by 10 years. He was so happy. So happy. And the 7-8 minutes got over. He felt, check, I should have had another 2-3 minutes. He came out and told his children, fantastic children, excellent, wonderful experience. Children asked, what happened yesterday and day before? He said, I didn't know that the Blue Cube is inside. I was standing in the dressing room and came back. Children told me the story. We all laughed together. Again, after a week's time, I was contemplating on this incident. I suddenly felt it is true with our life also. It is true, very true with our lives. God sends us to earth to do something concrete and come back. He wants us to do something concrete and come back. But tragedy is most of us stand in the dressing room and go back without discovering our Blue Cube. Our Blue Cube is the area of satisfaction that we have, where we give something and feel satisfied. But most of us stand in the dressing room and come back. Let us find our own Blue Cube, go there, contribute in life, and and make our lives sublime. I should congratulate all of you, all the donors. Please continue to do that in larger measure so that this project, these children belong to us. These children belong to society. If this society as a whole cannot take care of some children who can't help themselves, I think we can't show our face to God when we go back. What have you done to people? You will ask us. So let us do something together. In any way, I told Wing Commander Murthy also, in any way I can be of some help to the institution, I shall do it unconditionally. Congratulations to all of you. I can only say, may your tribe increase. Thank you so much.